Alright, guys. Rogue in the bottom left side of the map. Cure in the top right side. It's TVZ. Best of 3 here in the Kung Fu Cup semi-finals. Week number 16, or weekly Kung Fu Cup tournament number 16, I should say. Cure, historically, does kind of have Rogue's number. It's a weird matchup because, you know, Rogue, one of the best Zerg players in the world. Cure, a very good Terran player who classically has had struggles in this matchup, and yet he matches up quite well with Solar and Rogue. Few of these Korean Zerg players he seems to understand how to deal with, whereas it was the Darks, the really clutch micro players, the guys who are, you know, the Rainers, the Darks, who are really fast and able to just wriggle their way out of trouble, who could kind of out-multitask him and I think kind of utilize a mechanical advantage. But interestingly, Rogue's going to go 15 hatchery. This is so funny, guys. I, early on in the patch, was going 15 hatchery, 15 pool every game, saying, like, this is, like, the safer, better way to open. And then more recently, I've just been copying what the European pros have been doing. They're like 16 hatch, 17 pool every game. But it's interesting to see Rogue go for that a little bit early because he's gone 15 hatch, but then he's actually still built 3 workers afterwards. So maybe 15 hatch, 17 pool, which is not hugely different to 16. Command center first for Cure on the right side of the map. Oh gosh, I was going to say I should check. This is a 300 mineral command center, guys. That is, yeah. It went down at like a minute and 5, minute 10. This was played this week, so like 2-3 days ago at most from when I'm casting this. It's on the current patch. Command centers will be cheaper. Will Cure, as a result, rush a 3rd command center? It looks like the answer is no. He's going to play double gas afterwards. I mean, you have to play double gas after, unless you're playing a Marine mass CC first, because you want to go for an early factory after just 1 Marine, get a reactor and do it that way. Rogue, of course, is droning up here and just relying on his overlords to scout. It looks like he's not as worried about proxy barracks as he is against some other players. Often he'll scout with both overlords for proxy racks. He only sent 1 just to look at these more common areas in case there's a proxy rack. So now he sees command center first, and he's going to try and sneak around the back. He might try to get over here to sacrifice in the backside, because you can see these SCVs don't have the longest sight range. They might not see him cross over, and with only 1 Marine out, that could work. SCV should be pulling over here to build the factory. You can see he actually pulled off gas there. So just 2 on each gas. And that makes a lot of sense because you are going to be well under the 16 workers on mineral saturation if you want to get this tech up early, and that's the price that one pays. But double mules will be dropping. It's going to drop them both in the main where they are safe because Kua has not scouted at all. He doesn't know if Zerglings are going to run in. Doesn't want to lose any mining time on those mules. Now, Rogue has still gone Ling speed immediately, which normally against command center first, you could delay that to take a quicker 3rd. You could push your greed a lot here. Rogue has not taken that option. Now, is that because he wants to do an early Ling flood? Is it because he's just not really optimizing his counterplay? Is it more of a comfort thing? I'm not sure. Only time will tell. The Overlord has crossed into the back, which means he can sacrifice through for a really good scout. Often a fusion core or an armory gets hidden over here or here. That's going to be near impossible to hide from this Overlord. Hellions building just 1 at a time for now. Interesting. Normally you'd swap the factory over immediately, but the reactor wasn't timed out perfectly with the factory. And actually, he's going to be building Marines 2 at a time. So this looks like a couple of Hellions, a couple Marines in a medevac, that sort of pressure. Go around, hunting Overlords, pushing the Zerg vision into the corner. You're not going to get massive damage payoff unless the Zerg really messes up their positioning, and that's the Hellions roast a drone mineral line. But it's just like a light pressure. One has to question the efficiency of the build order, though. That's a lot of gas mining. And what are you going to spend that gas on, Cure? Unless you're planning to go mech or like transition libs after this or banshees, like it feels like this build order is not ironed out that well. And I got to say, that's my build orders as well. Everyone's build orders feel a little sloppy. We got 300 gas here. We've got no way to spend it. So mostly mineral production. And oh my god, he lets him walk into his base. Gets a full scout. Hellions also taking damage against the Queen. Cure, that multitasking. Oh my gosh, he's no, Cure! People get really mad at me, the Cure fanboys, when I talk about his multitasking being his weakest factor, but this is a disaster. Oh my, no. He just lost an SCV to the Ling Scout as well. He was like busy hunting for an Overlord on the pillar. What is this? Cure, wake up, buddy. This is Kung Fu Cup. This is played in the Chinese, Korean evening time. There's no excuses for being tired at this time of day. He goes for a Liberator and 2 more barracks, but there's over 300 gas in the bank. He's now going to build an engineering bay. So he's going to go for a 2-base push style. But this is a terrible opening for him. He's so far found 2 Zerglings, but he's lost 2 Hellions and an SCV. I mean, this Rogue should be miles ahead. He's got Carapace on the way. His third's not fully saturated, so it's not like he's droned crazy hard, but as long as he doesn't take much damage here, he's fine. Could have actually saved that Overlord if he reacted a little bit faster, but is what it is. Lairs on the way as well. We often talk about Rogue not being the fastest, the best multitasker of the Zerg players, but he's definitely looking a little bit quicker than Cure in this game so far. Now, Cure looked like he wanted to play a 2-base push. Now he builds a second engineering bay and a third command center, but it's not streamlined. It really feels like we're bouncing from plan B to plan C to plan D right now as he kind of runs into opposition and just isn't finding the damage that he wants. There's a lot of room in the late game to come back with Mass Command Center. That's what Cure might have to lean into here. Lib's going to come down the left, but there's a perfectly placed Spore Crawler for it. If he comes to this side, he could siege up, but... Oof. Okay. Queens are there, though. Queens are there, and Cure's not the best multitasker, so he might not be looking at this. He really needs to look at that. If he sieges on the Queens, it's bad. And that's exactly what happens. Queens are going to just stand and fight, which is a little surprising. He's actually not in vision of the drones, so he can't really shoot much. Oh, just barely he is. There we go. Gets 2 drones and a queen, but the Lib goes down. Drop on the south side does almost nothing. Third command center is coming up. 4th and 5th barracks is building. Zerg has a 4th hatchery down south. Rogue's income is not amazing. He's only on 53 drones. It does feel like he's over-respected kind of the fear of this 2-base play, even though he's not really seen it. He's massing Lings. He's got Carapace coming in. He's only on 56 workers. He's kind of in an all-in position. I think Rogue, when his Bane speed finishes, he might just go for a big attack, feeling like, oh, I've had to make so much army, I might as well go for an attack of my own. If Cure steps forwards onto creep, this is a disaster. He has no idea that Rogue's economy is this low. He's seen a 4th hatchery. He probably thinks this is full of drones. He's like, I gotta go do damage. This is a great tank spot, by the way. Which I think this is a better 4th base for Rogue. He's taken a much worse 4th, probably. He could loop around and get that siege tank if he comes from the northern ramp. Gotta be careful. Tanks are inching their way forwards. The Marines trying to bait him in, but look at that flank. Beautiful sandwich coming in here. Rogue will surround the army. The Marines will slip away on the right side, but as long as the tanks go down, I think he's okay with that. Good focus fire, at least with the tank. The Marines do gun down a lot of Zerglings. Units lost tab. It is in favor of Cure, but not massively so. He hasn't really put a big dent into Rogue's setup. But he's up in workers, and if Cure realizes this and just backs off, I think he's in a good spot. Then again, upgrade-wise, +2 Carapace is ahead of +2. Hydroden's coming in. Now the droning is starting for Rogue, and he's got a 5th base up. And there's no 4th command center, no 2nd factory just yet. I mean, it's so tempting to just build a quick 4th, quick 5th command center. I really feel like I can't wait to see Maru playing a lot of TVZs on this patch. It's such a shame that he got knocked out of RSL just before they buff the command center. The scheduling of those groups, absolutely diabolical, isn't it? When you've got all these patches constantly happening. You get a guy like Maru. He goes out and then like 2 days later, they're just like, oh, by the way, command centers are 300 minerals now. Rocks do get collapsed. That's nice. Just creates a bit of an obstruction, a bit annoying for Zerg to deal with. It actually sets up a pretty nice push. If you put tanks behind those rocks, you can create a really cool push there. Marines picking up. He's going to go drop into the main. 4th command center is almost finished. 8 barracks coming in. 2 factories are actually up now as well. So Cure's getting set up, guys. He's doing pretty well, man. He's building Widow Mines and I think tanks at the same time, yeah? Yeah. Well, he can. He's making only Widow Mines right now, though. Playing a sort of smothering bio mine style. And Rogue, he's not got a hive started. The lack of combat shields is really worrying, and he's finally noticed and does click combat shields. I kept thinking, oh yeah, you know, it's kind of normal. Combat shields is one of the later upgrades you get. And then I'm like, wait a second. 2-2's almost finished. We really should have had combat shields by now. Hive comes in for Rogue. Kyo's going to go take that 4th command center. It still takes a while for Terran infrastructure to get up. So as good as the command centers are, and as much as it really speeds up Terran scaling to the end game when they are in that turtle situation, most Terrans are still playing a very tempo-focused style. And that's, I mean, it makes sense. Most Terrans prefer to play tempo. They don't want to just sit there and build command centers till end game, even if that sometimes can be effective. Marines in the top left. He's watching, picks up. Down in the bottom side. Ooh, Widow Mine's getting set off by just a few units. Changeling does walk past. Getting really good vision for Rogue. Fourth planetary's coming up. No fifth, no sixth command centers. Q is almost maxed. He really probably should be massing CCs now, but he's trying to get a good fight here. Ling Bane wrapping around from both sides. Can these Widow Mines fire? A few of them already fired before the fight started. More Widow Mines coming in now, and that will allow him to maintain position. Combat shields and 2-2 are finally in for Terran. 5 is finishing. I think it's finished now for Zerg, so he could start +3 carapace, but right now, +1 range, +2 melee are the priority. Creep's getting really pushed in, and remember, creep spread is so much weaker for Zerg this patch. It did get nerfed in terms of its spread speed. It also recedes a little bit slower to obviously make up for that a little bit, so it's slower to clear, but it never seems to quite get as far out on the map. I'm sure Rain is very happy seeing another nerf to his, best creep in the world style. Gelling Claws is in. Remember, Widow Mines fire a little bit faster these days as well, guys. There's less delay on that shot going off, and oh my god. Oh my gosh, okay. Hot pick up at the last second. Cure does avert disaster. He's got a 5th command center coming in. Yeah, I'm surprised he's not ramping up the command centers at all. Hey, it's so odd. I feel like so many people are just like, let's build 15 command centers, go! And Cure's like, no, okay, I'll add them, but just at the normal cadence, They're a little bit faster, but I mean like the normal order, I should say. Like, builds 8 racks, gets his 2 factories. He's like, okay, I'll build a 5th command center, then I'll get 8 gases, Fusion Core 2nd starport. I'm going to go into Liberators from here. Doesn't look like he's too keen on playing Ghosts. Most Terrans have not been keen on turtling to Ghosts. And remember, Ghosts are back to 2 supply now, but they still only get 2 snipes at max energy. And even though it can't be interrupted, that does mean it's even more reliant on you playing very slow and turtling up as this surgery machine operates on this Zerg blob here. Who knows what's going on there, guys? Kind of looks like a cocoon. Like Kerrigan or something has already popped out of, Comes forward here. Nice, gets a few queens, bit of creep. Lurkers are there, but they haven't really set up a defensive position just yet. Widow Mines getting okay shots, nothing too crazy. How are these trades going? So far, about 4,000 resources in Terran's favor. It's good trading. It's not like game ending or anything like that. He's just chipping away, but now that the Mass Viper Lurker's coming out, and there's only 1 tank, no libs, and only 1 ghost, very dangerous spot to be in for Cure. Stims in, gets 2 Lurkers, which is okay. The moment he gives up map control, he instantly dies to a Lurker counterattack, though. And Cure, I think, doesn't seem to realize that. Like, normally he's a guy who builds a 3rd and 4th factory, makes extra tanks. He's trying to just dominate the map. He needs to pump Liberators right now. And the problem is, a few libs isn't going to cut it. There's 3 Vipers. They can abduct 6 Liberators out of siege mode. They can parasitic bomb them if they're clumped up. Right now, Cure, I don't get the sense, because he's got so much map control, that he understands the danger he's in. He is playing Rogue. Rogue's whole thing for like 7 years has been, oh, looks like I'm losing. Oh, by the way, here's a Nidus. There's 10 Lurkers in your main. GG, get out. He's done this so many times. And don't get me wrong, the Lurkers are coming in slow. Their upgrades are incredibly slow. He's only now getting the Lurker upgrades. Vipers do clean up the double drop here. Looks like some abducts and power bombs to deal with those medevacs. Should have enough Hydraling Bane on the mobile setup to defend this side as well. I mean, Q is taking nice trades. Just worried about when Rogue springs into action, because Rogue's a guy who he'll lull you into a false sense of security by sitting defensive for so long, and then he'll just smash your production. What do you got? 4 ghosts, 1 tank? I feel like at some moment Zerg's just going to swamp through the middle. Swamp? I think swarm would probably be a better word. Swamp kind of makes us think it's a bit moister than it is, Zerg has a lot of moisture. I mean, look at that steam coming out of the top of that hatchery. You can see it's throbbing, moist, steamy. A couple of words that do describe most Zerg structures, but his army, reasonably sterile and dry, I would say. All right, this is a weird discussion. I'll move on. Sorry, guys. But this is the analysis you're here for. Mass Command Center's coming in. Lib range, building armor. Trading out a bunch of these Marines is good. But, yeah, 7 medevacs is probably a good count at max. Oh, the abducts are great. So now Rogue closing the efficiency gap. He's only down 3,000 now. 10,000 to 13,000, and that's really good for him. This base is an awful decision for Cure, I think. Oh, maybe if he takes this base as well, he can center his whole army on this ridge. But I feel like if you're taking this top base, you should be focusing on taking the whole top. This map's quite good for Turtle late game because Terran can take these 3 bases next to each other. but Kyo's doing that I'm going to expand to both sides of the map simultaneously thing, which it means it's really hard to cover because the Zerg can kind of grab their whole army and collapse on one side, and it's really tough to deal with that. Speak of the devil, here we go. Mass Hydraling Bane Viper. He's going to go for it. Oh, this is huge. Q has not got any Widow Mines. Abducts on the Medivacs, not bad. Blinding Clouding on the Planetary. Baneling's going to go after this Planetary, but he runs his Hydras away a bit too early. He should have got the Orbital there, I think. Would have been nice to focus that just a little bit longer with those Hydras. 11 workers go down, and I told you guys the Lurker move was coming, did I not? Luckily, Liberators are there. He's got Liberators, and that will force him out. It looks like he gets an add-on on the Barracks, the Factory, and the Starport all burning there. Nidus goes down, but at the same time in the south, Hydras are going to lunge forward into the Libs. Ooh, Libs unsupported. And that's still a decent trade, I think, for the Terran, but you need better than decent the longer these games go. Keep that in mind. Pushing on creep with Bioghost, very dangerous. Very dangerous. Right now, Kua playing like his name is Clem. Shoving on creep. His ghosts are getting surrounded. They're so expensive. Parabombs landing on the Medivacs. Ooh, it was a good fight for Rogue, but now Rogue's supply blocks. He's trying to remake mass Hydra. He's making 17 Hydras. Normally, you only want about 10 Hydras. You want mostly a Ling Bane maxed army. Going Hydras is a crazy choice, and they're terrible against Libs. But his Spire's not ready, so he has to rely on Hydras for now. And Rogue is going to lose a lot of units in a base. Great counterattack here for Kua. Rogue taps out. Kua. Wow, very nice win, guys. Really just solid, steady. And it felt like Rogue was so afraid in the early mid-game. He stayed on a massive army for a long time, but then he didn't really get the value out of it, right? Like there was this moment, you go to like 6-7 minutes, and he stopped at 50 drones for so long. He took a long time to finish droning this third. I thought he would be a bit greedier on that. He built 8 queens and 30 Zerglings off just 54 drones. So it really felt to me like Rogue played a bit too safe here. And I get Kua's got some really good 2-base pushes, and he even did open 3 barracks and an engineering bay before 3rd command center, but it felt like with Kua's build being not streamlined and not finding much harassment damage at all, like what, a queen and 2 drones with this lib? This was not a great start for Kua, and it felt like Rogue should run away with the game. But if we fast forward to like 8 or 9 minutes, he's only up 7 workers and he's down in supply. You know, and don't get me wrong, the 300 Mineral Command Center it's a big buff to Terran. I don't know if it's broken or not. I don't like the change for the reason that it encourages turtle play and mass orbital and that sort of stuff. But it felt to me like Rogue didn't quite get run away with this game maybe as much as he should have. And could he have counterattacked the third? Yeah, he might have been able to, but there was a tank there. If this tank was sieged on the high ground, you got Marines on this route. This is a pretty impossible area to attack. You can maybe blow the wall up, roll some Lingbane in the third a few times, but I don't think trying to kill with a dedicated attack is a great idea. Took a really long time for Rogue to get the Lurker tech up when his Hive was there, but he kind of was just stuck in his corner defending for a really long time. And since he had Hydras out, I kind of would have loved him to jump out and swarm on the map a little bit more. And I don't know, it just felt like Rogue was a little bit overly defensive in this game, maybe a little traumatized by Kua's aggression in the past. And Kua was able to kind of just keep up pressure without overcommitting. Mass expand, get to the Libs, get to the Ghosts. And really well played there by Kua. GG, well played. All right, guys. Rogue in the top right side of the map. Going for the old 11 Overlord, Cyril style Rogue. Copying the goat. I like it. Kua in the bottom left side of the map. It's Blackrock, guys. Unfortunately, I've really tried to spread the word to tournament organizers. There is a tournament edition of Blackrock. You search Blackrock, there's TE instead of LE. It's the exact same map made by the map maker, except instead of this bugged ladder version that has the contrast and brightness on 400,000 radiate your eyeballs, it actually looks like a nice map. So please, guys, play that. I've been trying to annoy... I've been AFK for a lot of our last 2 weeks, Pigasaurs. But I will be harassing players in Pigasaur to play that as well. I get on the ladder, you're going to be playing the normal version, and the brightness is going to be terrible like this, but I really despise that such a pretty map has been irradiated the way this one has. This is going to be a... Oh, guys, I love this opening. It's the Bomb Cloud, OG Bomb Cloud. It's the 2 barracks Marine pressure. Now, you're going to snipe the Overlord, potentially lifting the barracks to snipe it, and then you're going to do a Marine pressure. It could be literally just 3 Marines to force a reaction, push the Overlords back. You could go 7 Marines and build a bunker and cancel the third. Usually, top Zergs will respond to this. As Rogue goes hatch first. by not taking a third. And that's why Kua often doesn't overcommit to it anymore. He just builds like 3 Marines, pokes across the map, and then transitions behind it. And he's actually going for a gas very early before Command Center, which is interesting. This is going to be a fascinating opening. Overlord comes forward. Marines are hiding. He's like, oh, it's a Reaper opening. It's like, nope, that is not a Reaper opening. This is man with gun. And that Overlord is going to try to run away. Now, you might be wondering, why not go to this pillar? Because the barracks can just lift up and spot you. He's trying to get to the safety of that pillar, but 3 Marines say, no, no. The Overlord does get chunked. You can see bits of organ meat hanging out everywhere. And the Marines will now go across the map. As I said, Kua, he does not like to commit a lot to this because most Zergs play so safe against it. So he just drops a command center, goes reactor, probably goes tech lab here as he's just hit 25 gas, builds a 3rd barracks on the high ground, and the tech lab goes down now. There we go. Now Rogue's making Ling speed, 2 queens, and droning up. You can't really push in against queens with just 3 Marines. You could run in and try to deny a bit of mining. The Tauren Space Marine up here, by the way, also has a Gauss rifle. Rogue's micro is quick. And Queen can take care of that. Because the Queen can stutter step in and out as well. And she's just too tanky. 175 hit points and 1 armor. The Marines can't get through that. So 3 barracks. This is kind of cool, man. Stim's on the way. Do you guys think he plays 2nd reactor? I think he'll play Tech Lab, but I kind of hope he plays reactor. Because I think double reactor, single tech lab's a very cool style. It just gives you such nice Marine production. But he's going to go for the combat shields. It's a shorter upgrade than Stim, so it'll line up with Stim, and then you can do a nice Marine pressure. It's an old school classic pressure, the old 3 racks. And on this map, there's a lot of little choke points and corners you can hide in, and sight blockers, which actually will help the Marines more than the Zerglings. Rogue was playing Roaches. He'd be... You can do like a Ravager counterattack and sometimes just kill this build. Right, you can go for like a Ravager roll in here, try to overwhelm it. The problem is it's got a very narrow window where like you have enough Ravagers to beat the Marines and Stim's not done. Because once Stim's done, the Ravagers can get jumped on. Also, there's sight blockers everywhere, which the Marines can use to make up for the fact that the Ravagers normally have a significant range advantage. And look at this, Rogue's trying to get some map vision back. And Kua says, no way, mate. No way, Jose. Oh, Queen goes down. Oh my god, this is a crazy pressure. Who does this? Kua! He runs in and just kills 2 queens. He knows this is a suicide mission. He's just going to go on a one-way trip. Grabs another drone in Overlord mining time. Dude, this is crazy damage. Rogue can't believe what's happening. He's like, you're not meant to do this. This is risky. A Zerg player would have had Zerglings out against a 3 racks by now. What are you just going to gamble on them being greedy? And Kua's like, mate, I've had your number for a decade. You are the greediest, most gambly, coin flippy Zerg in the world. You always have been. And I know how you think. I guarantee you, he doesn't do that against anyone else, but he knows. Basically, here's the thing. Rogue says it would be very dangerous. Like 9 out of 10 Zergs will have plenty of Zerglings ready to surround you. Pushing pre-stim is a really bad move 9 times out of 10. Therefore, you won't do it. Therefore, I don't need to build any Zerglings. But Kua was 1 step ahead, and he knows that Rogue's a poker player. And he calls his bluff. He's like, you're not going to build Zerglings. You're a greedy bastard, mate. Goes in with like 8, 9 Marines, no stim, gets crazy damage. And now Rogue is kind of reeling here in this game. But he is respecting it now. He's making mass Zerglings. Only 3 queens, though. Not much support. And if those get in the mineral line, it's kind of hard to surround him. 1 queen taking a big amount of damage. It does go down. The drones do pull away. The Marines trading pretty damn nicely here. 5 drones and a lot of Zerglings go down. The queens have to be careful as well. He's going to go for another stim there. The Lings come in to punish. And it is cleaned up, but not without even more damage and messiness. Rogue really needs a 4th base. And I think he has to play an incredibly efficient style from here. I actually think he can't afford Banelings. I think staying 1 gas for a little bit longer, just take a 2nd gas eventually, and take a 4th base as quickly as possible is actually the key. Now, what he doesn't know, but we know, is this is actually a follow-up push. He should know that there's always going to be a strong follow-up push, because this was clearly a 3 barracks push, so there's clearly going to be a big army. But we know there's also a factory and a starport building tanks and medevacs before 3rd Command Center. So Rogue's building a couple drones here, but with no 4th hatchery, he's kind of got bad production. He cannot afford to build any more drones. He's going to mass Ling Bane. And you can see he kind of was fearful of this sort of push in the previous game. So I don't think he's surprised. This must be something Q is doing a lot of right now. 1 tank, 4 more Marines, or 5 more Marines, and 2 medevacs coming forwards. Plus 2 carapaces on the way. There's no Bane speed in this game. Rogue's in big trouble, guys. And that Bane nest is really exposed on the front. He's not got the money to start Bane speed. Okay, now he has the money. It starts, but he's starting +1 melee as well. +2 carapace. He cannot afford these upgrades. What matters is they're right here, right now. And you can see Cure is eager to force a fight. Only 4 queens on the map, 50 zerglings. But, oh my god, they go in way too early. Bunch of zerglings going down. Queens almost take a volley as well. This is going to collapse this side, protecting the right flank. You can even then move the tank further forward if you want to get in a more abusive position, but he's happy to just kind of bait Rogue into a bad fight here. Rogue's not got Banelings, and Rogue cannot defend this base, but he's not got a 4th hatchery, so he's got to try. He goes for the surround the Marines, stutter stepping back. The tank actually doing a pretty good job of tanking a lot of damage. Does do a bit of friendly fire to the Marines, but the Marines have so much damage density here. Their +1 weapons cancelling out the early carapace of Zerg. 4 queens and a handful of Zerglings, the last line of defense, and Cure does get pushed back. A clutch hold for Rogue. But remember, he needs time for these upgrades. When +2 carapace kicks in, I think he might be out of the woods. With no 4th hatcheries, production's low. As I said, you want to stay low on gas. He's taken 2 more gases. He's went 4 gas. Big mistake for Rogue, guys. He should be oversaturating his minerals rather than his gases. He has pulled off the gas in his 3rd base at least, but he really needs to be more mineral focused here. And here we go. He's going to try and overwhelm it. Can the Banelings connect? The Banelings not able to get towards those Marines. They're getting focused. Oh my god, Cure messed up his micro. But he finally focuses those Banes down. Not the cleanest Marine micro, but good enough. The tank goes down. The Marines survive. There are more speed Banes available. Can Rogue make some magic happen? Libs are going to go down the right side as well. Oh, Cure overloading his opponent. He's got a 3rd command center landed. He's not all in. Cure is almost never all in StarCraft. He's always expanding behind it. You see that main is still fully mining at this point. He could transfer from the natural to the 3rd. He's going to send 2 medevacs away, which is interesting. So it looks like he's going to do a double-pronged Marine push, and then he's going to send the Libs into the main base at the same time. Marines on the left, Marines on the right, Libs into the main. It's a lot of things to deal with right now. He needs to build a Spore, man. You got to build a Spore. You can't not. A couple Banes get focused down. Good hot pickup there. Libs go by. No Spore Crawler build is absolutely wild against double Lib, especially when you... I mean, he does have 9 queens now, which is pretty impressive. The queens are going to come forward, but Libs will take out quite a few of these queens, man. Down here, Marines gunning down the Zerglings. They do pick up at the last second. The queens will be able to overwhelm with only 2 drone losses. I think that's a pretty good hold. The Lib goes down. The drop comes in over here. Zerglings into the choke point. Oh, no! That's a nasty area. That drop area behind this mineral line has caused many Zergs. A lot of upset on this map. There's a reason why Roach Ravage is very popular on this map. It's because there's so many corners, nooks and crannies, beautiful tank positions. And of course, Ravages, Roaches having ranged attacks and corrosive biles can clear units out of those in a way Ling Bane can't quite. +1 range is coming in, which is a choice that's being made. I think it's a bad choice, to be honest. He's going to go Hydra Den now, but he's not got the money for Hydras. I think the only way you get back in this with Rogue is mass Ling Bane and Burrow. And he's taking an extra gas right now. I think this is the wrong call. Infestors would be a decent way to spend your gas. But Hydras and Banes, I think, have both been miscalls, and especially going so heavy in gas this game. Like, Rogue needs to be playing a comeback style, and he's trying to just play like a standard style to get back in a normal game. He's in a more desperate spot than he realizes. Widow Mines do fire. Marines pick up the last second. The Lib making him pay a pretty nasty tax for that. Marines on the right side go in. They're going to pick up and pull away as well. Remember, there is a 3rd command center fully mining here. 4th command center is there. Chadhammer on the high ground guards the base. And Rogue's not going to be able to push in. He's building 9 more drones. His 4th base is established. He needs a 5th. 5th and 6th base in the top left would be rather nice. Remember, that's only 6 minerals, the really safe base in the corner. Another Lib comes in. The lack of that Spore Crawler build going to be something that Rogue starts to regret in this game. Even though the Queens did manage to defend the previous wave, these Libs are so annoying. But once again, he's pretty quick on it. Kua realizes he's done for, so he just shift-clicks the drones, gets 5 drones before going down. Plus the 5 drones the Marines already killed before that. Brings it up to 10. A total of 24 workers have gone down in this game. Units lost tab 4,000 in Kua's favor. And it's crazy to see Kua just ransacking Rogue like this. He often gets the better of him, but it just feels like he's 2 steps ahead, isn't he? really seems to have a very clear momentum-based game plan for playing on this patch, and especially with the longer mining main base. You can see it's just mining out about now. It's actually lovely. I think this style is really good, and it's a style a lot of Terran players haven't fully explored. I still think, you know, your Rainas, your Serals, Dark, when he's back at the end of the year, will give Cure a lot of trouble with this style, but can't wait to see those matchups, to see how it differs from how Rogues responded in this series. Marines swarming, the Lingbane Hydra rolling forward. Bane's not quite able to connect. He's just not got the numbers. And Rogue, he's got a lot of Hydras now. They do have Groove Spines. They don't have the movement speed yet. They do have 1-2 upgrades against 2-1, which is not terrible. But, oh, that's terrible. Oh, that's a really bad fight. There's too many Medivacs healing. There's no Zerglings or Banelings coming in till just now. And that's so many Hydras. Remember, Hydras are not a unit you trade unless you are miles ahead of your opponent. They are so expensive. Rogue realizes he can't replace those. He's about to get attacked on the right side as well by another Massive Marine mine. Terran is too far ahead, and Cure showing us some really excellent momentum-based gameplay. I really love this build for this map. This map, normally there's so many good spots for Overlords, and instead he just gets over there, does the pressure, and takes a really big risk on this Marine pressure. This Marine pressure really won the game, right? Like, it was a good opening pressure. I really want to say, you know, gets an Overlord. Third ends up being delayed a little bit. It's a nice little opening pressure, but he is down 10 workers. And then he's just like, oh, by the way, it's 4 minutes 20, and he has 9 Marines. And Rogue gets supply blocked the moment that Overlord goes down as well. So he can't even build Zerglings. And you can see, even if he was able to build Zerglings, like if he wasn't supply blocked, this is such a dangerous pressure. There are so many scenarios where Zerg like has lava, which he does, and he's not supply blocked. And the moment those Marines are down there, he builds Zerglings, they're out in 17 seconds. He loses a bit of creep. The Queens pull back. He runs the drones back with the Queens. And then the Lings pop. The Marines get surrounded because they don't have stim. And we're all kind of going, well, that was a bit of a silly pressure from the Terran player. But number one, Rogue should have pulled his Queens back way earlier. That was crazy standing there and fighting. And pulled the drones to fight with the Queens. And obviously getting supply blocked was just unfortunate for him. You could say that's always the risk if you don't have extra Overlords. Often when you're in a game where your opponent's doing a sort of pressure and you can't quite pin down how aggressive they're being and you're unsure whether you should build drones or army, there is a little tip and a trick, which I talk about a lot in my coaching sessions with lower level players, something which pros sometimes apply, sometimes they don't, and that is the idea of having a bigger supply gap to give you flexibility. So the idea being, if you see an army move out, you've been too greedy, and then you go, oh, crap, I'm supply blocked. You can't react. You have to build Overlords, then army, right? So rather than going up to your supply cap and trying to be as efficient as possible with squeezing as many units out as possible like Rogue was here, something you can do in a game like this, which I guarantee you, he just didn't think there'd be a push until Stim was done, which is 40 seconds from now. So he didn't think this was an option. He thought this is optimal play. But if you want to be safer, you keep 20 supply free, just in general. You go, okay, build an extra 2 Overlords ahead of what you normally would. And that way, even if you lose one or get surprised by an attack, you can immediately start making army, and they're going to be out so much faster. Whereas if you spot an attack, you've got to make your supply, then make your army. That delay often gets you killed, and we saw that really hurt here. Great game 2 for Cure, though. Lovely to see Cure with some really cool builds. He's been doing really well in the weekly cup, so we're going to be watching a lot more of his games.